Have you ever been inside a prison? So you know how is it? The stomach shrinks, breathing becomes difficult, head spins, and you feel you are in a different land, a land of despair. My first time was last December in a big institution in the north of Madrid with 2,000 inmates, and I was there to present TED. So we are there among these big buildings, and there is not a soul, and there is this public announcement saying, in 5 minutes in the library, let's talk about TED. So I go there in the library, and very few people show up because, you know, TED is legendary, but it means absolutely nothing inside those walls. And the TED Talks are what we have seen in that graphs, but they mean nothing to them because they don't have access to the internet whatsoever. There is no internet structure inside the prison. So I start to explain. I explain the story and explain the hits, like, you know, Ken Robinson or Al Gore, and they are very bored and totally unimpressed. And then I show that moment when Bill Gates throw the mosquitoes on the audience, and I absolutely love that. They started to laugh, and they love that. So I see, this is my moment. And I show my merchandise, a full catalog of TED Talks. And I ask them, which one do you want to see? And do you know which one did they pick to see? Among all of them, How to Spot a Lie by Pamela Meyer. You know, they were watching that, totally transfixed, because they were looking at themselves. That was great. So we had a great discussion after that. Because they're very articulate. They, in their lives, they were maybe in top positions. They're very articulate. So we had this great discussion, and I went home, and they ran behind me because they wanted to continue the discussion, but of course it's not possible. They had to be stopped. So then I came back at the end of March and discussing TED 2012, and we reproduced that discussion among the Amandis and Gingil. Do you remember that? Is the earth on the verge of collapse? And they said, yes, of course, it is on the verge of collapse. They're very dark. They see everything dark. And then I say, you guys, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to come every 3 weeks and show some TED Talks? Or we become radical here, and we do a TEDx here, where you guys are the speakers. And they said, yes, we want TEDx, we want TEDx. So we have now a license to do a TEDx in that prison, where the inmates are the speakers and the inmates are the audience. We are just the facilitators. We have a permission to bring the logo inside, to bring this red point inside, and they are working on the 10 Commandments, and see what happens. We keep you posted.